All right, so a recent tech launch made this huge claim about the future of learning, especially when it comes to robotics. So today, we're going to break down what this physical AI platform is all about and see if it really could be the blueprint for how we learn really complex stuff from now on. Okay, let's get into it.
So this is the statement that really got our attention. It's bold, it's confident, and it comes right from the launch of this new interactive textbook. It's a massive promise, right? It suggests we're about to see a fundamental shift away from how things have always been done.
And that's the real question, isn't it? When somebody says the future is here, what do they actually mean? What makes this thing any different from a normal online course or just, a PDF textbook? That's exactly what we're going to unpack.
To get to the bottom of this, here's how we'll do it. First, we'll look at the sheer amount of content in what they call more than a textbook. Then, we'll get into the cool part, the AI learning assistant. After that, a quick peek at the technology under the hood, and finally, we'll tie it all together and ask why this approach matters.
So, first things first, what are we even talking about here? Before we get to all the fancy AI features, let's just look at the foundation, the actual course material. And the scale of it is, well, it's pretty impressive.
Right off the bat, we're talking about a curriculum built around 24 huge chapters. That tells you this is not just some quick overview. This is a deep, really structured dive into the subject.
And get this, those chapters are packed with over 50,000 words of content. To give you some perspective, that's basically the length of a novel, except every single word is focused on high-level robotics.
The whole course is designed to be taken over a pretty standard 13-week academic semester, so it's built to plug right into a university-level schedule.
And speaking of universities, the creators are making another bold claim here. They say the academic rigor of the content actually exceeds what you'd find in a similar course at Harvard. It's clearly meant to position this as a very serious educational tool.
And a quick glance at the syllabus proves this is not Robotics 101. We're talking about ROS 2, simulation platforms, the NVIDIA Isaac platform, all the way to really cutting-edge ideas like vision-language action systems and controlling autonomous humanoids. The takeaway here is that the foundation is dense, academic, and totally current.
Okay, but a big textbook is still just a textbook, right? Well, this is where it gets really interesting. The content is just the starting point. The real innovation is in how you actually interact with all that information. Let's talk about the AI.
This is the big idea. The whole platform is designed to be an active learning environment, not just some static document you read from page 1 to the end. It's supposed to feel more like a conversation. Now, the tech that powers this conversation is what makes it so smart. It uses something called a RAG chatbot. RAG stands for Retrieval Augmented Generation. In plain English, that means the AI doesn't just go search the web and guess at an answer. No, it retrieves information directly from the textbook's own content to build its response. And that's what keeps the answers incredibly accurate and totally relevant to what you're studying.
So here's what that looks like in practice. Imagine you're reading and you hit a really complex paragraph. Instead of opening a new browser tab and Googling for an explanation, you just highlight the text, ask a question right there, and you get an instant, context-aware explanation based on the very material you're reading. It creates this seamless learning loop that keeps you in the zone. And it's not just the chatbot. There are other adaptive features too. It can personalize some of the content based on your background, and it can even translate entire chapters into other languages, like Urdu, with just one click. This is all running on some pretty heavy-duty tech from places like OpenAI and uses a special kind of database called Quadrant, which lets the AI find the exact piece of information it needs, like instantly. So, when you put it all together, the shift is really clear. You're moving from passive reading to active learning, from static content to interactive content, and from the headache of searching everywhere for help to having an AI assistant integrated right where you need it, when you need it.
Now, of course, to make all of this run smoothly, you need a modern, really solid tech stack. This isn't just a simple website, it's a full-on web application. So let's take a quick look at the engine that makes it all go.
As you can see, the whole platform is built on a professional, production-ready tech stack. What this means for you, the user, is that the experience is fast, it's smooth, and it's reliable. They used modern tools like FastAPI and deployed on a cloud service like Railway, which tells you this thing was built to be used by a lot of people, not just as a small demo.
And remember that RAG chatbot we talked about? To make sure it's super accurate, that entire 50,000-word textbook has been broken down into over 390 distinct knowledge chunks. So when you ask a question, the AI sifts through these specific chunks to find the most relevant info before it even starts to form an answer. It's a really methodical way to ensure accuracy.
Okay, so we've got a massive, academically tough curriculum combined with a powerful, integrated AI assistant, all running on a modern tech stack. Let's pull back and look at the big picture. Why could this model be so important for the future of education?
This really does feel like it could be a blueprint. It completely changes learning from a one-way street where you just consume information into an active two-way conversation. The key, the real game changer, is putting help directly at the point of confusion. For tough technical subjects, that's huge. It makes the whole journey more personal and helps bridge that gap between theory on a screen and how it works in the real world.
And that brings us to this really powerful conclusion. Sure, the content here is all about robotics, but the model itself is totally universal. You could take this exact same framework, a deep body of knowledge plus a context-aware AI assistant, and apply it to almost any difficult subject you can think of.
So we'll leave you with this question to chew on. If AI can reshape how we learn something as tough as engineering, what other complex fields are next? Think about medicine, law, finance, any field that relies on a dense, complicated body of knowledge. What's stopping this model from transforming how we learn everything? It's a pretty exciting thought.